Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, your host for the Night Sky this week for June 19th, 2023. Welcome. So nice to see you and be able to join me, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. It's great to see you. I hope you've had a nice weekend. Maybe you did some nice sky watching, perhaps. If you did, please share it with me. I'd love to hear your stargazing stories of what maybe objects you encountered in the skies this past week. There's always something happening. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to me because it shows me the support and allows me to keep bringing these videos every week into your homes. So hit that subscribe button, follow me on my pages, make sure you also hit the notification button so you don't miss any of the sky charts and videos that I post every week. So why don't we get right into it? The first thing I gotta mention are noctilucent clouds. Have you heard of them? This is the season for these space-based clouds. They're really, really cool. They're appearing in the northern hemisphere, higher latitudes, sometimes into mid and lower latitudes as well. Basically, these are clouds that are formed in the very top part of our atmosphere. They look like wispy tendrils at dusk, usually this time of the year. And let me show you, my friends at spaceweather.com produce a really great gallery on this and give you notices of when they're visible, spaceweather.com. I'll put a link right now actually in here for you. Let me just copy and paste this so you guys can read it on your own as well. It's a great website for auroras, northern lights and sunspots and all of that, solar activities, and these kind of space-based events. So there is a possible CME coming. So be on the lookout if you're in high latitudes for auroras. By the way, there's a little story about that, so stay tuned to that. But usually for most of us, we won't be able to see them, but you never know. It's worth keeping an eye open. So I'm watching that. I'm also watching this possible mid-latitude noctilucent clouds. So again, noctilucent, this very funny word, basically refers to these clouds that are formed by space dusts that's falling from basically into the atmosphere, hitting the atmosphere of the Earth, and where it's very, very cold, ice crystals form around this space dust, this meteoritic dust, and it produces these clouds. And so they've mentioned that just a couple of days ago, this past weekend, there were clouds that went all the way down to mid-latitude regions. What do they look like? Here's a wonderful picture taken from Scotland just a few days ago, June 16th. by Alan Toff in Scotland. And look at this. Isn't that beautiful? See, these clouds. You've probably even seen these on a clear night, looking towards the sunset, maybe an hour, 2 hours after sunset. This is something that you would see. And around the summer solstice is the best time to see it. They kind of peak. This is the time of the year when these noctilucent clouds appear. They're absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend you guys do try to take some photos, observe them. There's more out here. There's another one here from Ware, England. You see what they look like? See, they're like wispy tendrils. It's almost like somebody took a paintbrush and kind of smushed the white paint on this blue, yellowy orange canvas of the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. This is again called noctilucent clouds. Right now, this time of the year, for about a month to 6 week period, it really is a peak time to see them. So if you're in higher latitudes like Scotland or England, Canada, northern United States, northern part of Asia, this is really a great side kind of sky watching thing that you might notice. And it has that space connection, right? Even though they're clouds in the upper stratosphere, the basis are ice crystals forming around space dust that's been floating around maybe for millions to billions of years that hit the atmosphere, and ice crystals form around that dust grain. It's really incredible to think about. And so just be on the lookout for noctilucent clouds, and you can check that out. I put a link to spaceweather.com, and you guys can read about that yourself. So that's a lot of fun. Also mentioning, of course, that it is, we're talking about the solstice coming up on June 21st. It's the summer solstice for those of us in the northern hemisphere. It's the winter solstice for those of you, my friends, in the southern hemisphere. It basically is either here in the northern hemisphere, it's the longest, most daylight that we have, maximum daylight hours, and it really is it's a more difficult time to do stargazing because you have to stay up late, right? Because it doesn't get dark until very late. But what's really beautiful, here's an opportunity that, as you may know, if you follow me, I'm also part of a great international nonprofit charity called Astronomers Without Borders. And we have a website called astronomerswithoutborders.org. Please do check it out. I'll put a link after the show in the chat, or I might do it in a second here, in fact. And what they're doing at Astronomers Without Borders is running a beautiful photo campaign of around the solstice. This whole week, up until June 23rd, actually, is taking a picture of your sunrise and sunset. So check this out. Here's the website, Astronomers Without Borders. You can go and visit it. Let me see if I can get it a little bit over like that so you can see it better. That's the website, Astronomers Without Borders. And you'll see this beautiful picture here, this banner. It's the Solstice photo campaign. And basically, we're asking you to snap a picture of your sunrise and sunset and share it on your social media channel, whether you're on Facebook or you have a Twitter feed or Instagram. You can and use the hashtag #OneSolsticeOneSky. So here's the program page that talks about how to take photos of the sunrise and sunset to make them look really beautiful on your smartphone. Check it out. There is the link. I put it in to the comment section. So take a photo of your next sunrise and sunset and share it with everyone. And Astronomers Without Borders will collect these and create a beautiful photo gallery. And there's some tips on how to share, 3 easy ways. You can upload it yourself, but basically the easiest is just use the hashtag #OneSolsticeOneSky. Take that photo with your smartphone, sunrise, sunset. It's going to be, I know I'm going to try tonight. If it stays clear or partly clear with clouds, it's going to be beautiful by a lakeside. So stay tuned for that. But I'd love to see you, my stargazing friends, participate wherever you are around the world. So let's celebrate that solstice that we all share. It's the same solstice for us around the world. So June 21st, but all week long, you can take that photo. So that's something cool you can do as well. Let's go back to the planetarium software and see what other things are in the sky this week. So here we are. We've got the sky setup for Monday, June 19th, about a half hour after local sunset. And what you'll notice is that there is a whisker-thin crescent moon. We had just had the new moon, and this beautiful, thin, new young moon is visible looking towards the west just after your sunset. Now, the trick to catching this moon when it's so thin is it may be using a pair of binoculars, looking low towards the horizon. And a great guidepost for you tonight will be Pollux and Castor. Pollux and Castor are the two bright stars in the Gemini, the twins constellation. So check those out, and it'll be right underneath, forming this little triangle formation. So the other thing that's really quite interesting with the moon is something called Earthshine. So this is a great time when the moon is very young, very thin crescent. That's what we're referring to as young, and its new phase. Is you can see that darker, unlit portion of the disk of the moon. You see, if I just zoom in, this is sort of simulating. This is on Sky Safari Pro that I'm using software. I love using Sky Safari, and there you can see in the simulation the darker side of the moon. This is something you could see with the naked eye. Even if you're in the city, even if you have light pollution, this is something, if you've got clear skies tonight, Monday, June 19th, you see the darker unlit portion. This is what's lit by, you see this little thin crescent part is what's lit by the sun there, but this other part you can still see. And you know why? This is what's so cool, is that it's because of sunlight hitting the earth, the very reflective oceans and white clouds that cover our planet, and they're very highly reflective, and it reflects that sunlight and it goes and shines on this unlit portion of the disk of the moon, and we get to see it thanks to what we call Earthshine. Isn't that amazing? And it's just a beautiful, beautiful effect that you can see with the naked eye and with binoculars. They're really, really beautiful. So do check that out. So this is the sky for Monday. And if we look, if we just go another day to Tuesday, the 20th, look at this. Now on Tuesday, the 20th, the moon is a little bit thicker, that crescent, but look, it's beautifully sandwiched between basically 4 different stars, 2 on either side of the moon. So on the right side of the moon, you'll have the Pollux and Castor Gemini twin stars, right? And then on the other side of the crescent moon, you'll have Venus, which is by far the brightest planet or star-like object. Looks like a bright star, but we know that that's a planet. It's actually a planet that's a disk. And, you know, if you have a telescope, you'll be able to see the disk of Venus. Let me just show you. If I just zoom in on my planetarium software, my Sky Safari here, you'll get to see what it looks like close up. And I'm just zooming in here, and this is the view that you'd get through a telescope, through the eyepiece. Look at that. It looks like a miniature crescent moon, doesn't it? I think it's absolutely amazing that you can see this as a world. With the naked eye, it looks like a super bright star, just a point of light, right? But if you bring out your small telescope and you train it on that bright star, it reveals itself as a planet that's partially lit by that sun. And look at where the crescent is directed to. Where's the light shining from? From the right-hand side, right? From this side over here. That's where the sun is, even from our perspective. And so it's just something so amazing to see that revealed as a planet in itself, in its own right, through just a little small telescope will show you that. So again, this is on Tuesday, June 20th. And look what else is there. Mars is right there next to Venus. So 2 bright planets. And if you look to the farther off there, even there's another star called Regulus, right? That's the bright star that marks the heart of Leo, the Lion constellation. Another star. So look at this lineup, just a gorgeous lineup. This is, again, Tuesday, June 20th. This is what's going to greet you after sunset. If we go to Wednesday, the June solstice, the day of the solstice, June 21st, look at this. The moon gives us another wonderful present by pairing up against a little bit thicker, the crescent moon, but it's going to be an amazing photographic opportunity. Again, bring out your smartphones. snap a photo of this gorgeous triangular formation of the moon next to Venus, next to Mars. This is really a truly gorgeous sight. Again, this is on the solstice, this Wednesday night. If you've got clear skies, don't miss this. It's absolutely beautiful. This is just a simulation, but to the naked eye, it will look very spectacular. Looking over the western sky, if you've got clear skies, take a photo of this. I'd love to see it. Share it with me on my Facebook page, share it with me on Twitter, tag me, the Night Sky Guy. I'd love to be able to see your pictures of this trio of the moon, Mars, and Venus huddled together on the day of the solstice. It's absolutely beautiful. And, just keep in mind that, it depends on where you are in the solar system, why it looks the way it does. If we just look at it, you can see they're all huddled. Of course, there are different distances, right? Venus, for instance, if we look it up, is 322 million kilometers away. I should say Mars. Mars is 322 million kilometers away. That takes light almost 18 minutes to reach our eye from Mars. Venus, which is super bright, I bet you it's closer. It is. It's only 85 million kilometers away, which means that light takes just under 5 minutes to reach your eye. What a vast difference, right? And then you've got this moon, this brilliant big moon. The moon is only about 400,000 kilometers away. So it takes just over a second for that light to reach your eye from the moon. Just some great educational opportunities, kind of gee whiz, like facts, that really profound information that kind of humbles you when you look at it. This is the awe and wonder of stargazing that can come to you with just little factoids like that. You don't have to be Neil deGrasse Tyson to really appreciate the universe. We can all do that. It's our heritage, our humanity's heritage, and it's something that's available to you any clear night, even in the city. This is something that you can see under light pollution. You don't have to head out to the countryside to see this. So, and then if we move along on Thursday, let's look on Thursday. The moon has now perched itself above the pair of Mars and Venus. Isn't that gorgeous? So again, the 22nd of June after sunset. So you can see lots of cool things happening after sunset. And Mars is there next to Venus, close up the pair, and then the moon is going to be next to Regulus. This again on Thursday, June 22nd. So do try that out. That's on Thursday. So you see, if you get clouded out on any particular night, there's always something to see. Great to hear from folks. I see people from all over, from Mexico, from Hungary, from South Africa. We've got people from England, from the US. Just fantastic. Thank you so much for spending a few moments of your time with me. Now, what else is there? Well, there's also, there's one more thing I wanted to see. You had that triangle, you had the Venus, and of course with the moon setting early. So take a look at this. So if we going to switch this so that we move ahead only hour by hour. See how as the skies get darker, you may want to wait until the skies get a little bit dark. We're talking, this is set again on Thursday. You'll see these objects clear. So some of us I guess we're so impatient, we want to see them quickly. So we go out maybe 20 minutes, a half hour after your local sunset. The skies may not be quite dark enough to see Mars and Regulus like you see here. You need those skies to be slightly darker. So be patient. Keep watching. Maybe an hour and a half after your local sunset. That's when the sweet spot comes for you to be able to see this with the naked eye. Just gorgeous. And of course, with the moon settling in, by mid-evening, by late night, like around 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, you're left with a beautiful starry sky, and you can see lots of interesting things. And one of the ones that I always like is, of course, the summer triangle, guys. The summer triangle are 3 stars, each representing a different constellation. We'll talk more about this in future broadcasts in the coming weeks and months. It's a big thing. It's easy to see, even from light-polluted cities. So looking high up, rising in the east, are three brilliant stars, okay, in different constellations. So we've got Vega, which is the brightest and the highest in the sky. Then we've got Deneb, and we have Altair. These three stars form this massive overhead sky triangle. For those of us in the mid-northern latitudes like Toronto, New York, Washington, Berlin, London, Rome, Beijing, Tokyo, this is something that'll be high up in the sky, fairly high. And this is something that you'll be able to see. The Milky Way band stretches across here. Their own home galaxy, one of the spiral arms, stretches right across this beautiful summer triangle, what we call the summer triangle here in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's really something beautiful. And I want you guys to go out and check this out. Now, I'm going to put a sky chart for this and all the other things that I talked about today so that you can go out and see this for yourself on any clear night. Next few months, the summer triangle is there. And of course, those beautiful sunset shows with the crescent moon, I'll put sky charts for those as well in the coming hours. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't visited my website, I have some updates on the supernova, also visible, the Pinwheel supernova in Ursa Major, the Great Bear, just off of the Big Dipper. That's still visible through small telescopes. So it's hanging tough there at magnitude 11.2, 11.4. Keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in any of these things, I invite you to check out my best-selling book, The Backyard Guide to the Night Sky by National Geographic. I packed it full of all my tips and tricks for beginners and intermediate astronomers. It's really something, everything that you would need to get started with the hobby and get familiar with the night sky and learn how to navigate the night sky. Easy peasy, even in the city when the light pollution. This little guidebook will help with that. And thank you very much for making it such a bestseller. Thank you for all of you. I wouldn't be able to do that without your support. And I am selling actual signed dedicated copies of this on my website, thenightskyguide.com. So if you want, maybe as a gift, it makes a good gift, I guess, for folks. And it's something a little bit more bigger at 6.5 pounds, a coffee table book. I'm co-authored here with National Geographic, Stargazer's Atlas, the ultimate guide to the night sky. It's brimming filled with the connectivity of humans and the night sky, mythology, astrotourism, astroarchaeology, and at the heart is the Atlas, of course, is all 88 constellations visible across the world, wherever you are, and filled with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deep sky objects that I know that people from visible with the naked eye all the way with large backyard telescopes. It has everything in this Stargazer's Atlas, and I'm selling signed dedicated copies of these as well on my website. So stay tuned for that. So lots of things. Thank you so much for your support. If you like this video and you want to see more, please show your support. It means so much by hitting that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. It means a lot to show your support. Also, share it with your network of friends and family. Let's get more people under the stars. Thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy this week. And until next week, what do I wish all of you? Clear skies, of course. Bye-bye.